Every trekker who comes to Everest Base Camp has something in common: the love for mountains and adventure. Of course, I was no different. I found myself in Nepal's Ramechhap airport, awaiting a propeller flight to Lukla, which everyone says is the most dangerous airport in the world. Turns out it felt like any other landing, just with a much better view. But the relief was short-lived. The flight was over and the trail was waiting. It's time to get my legs to work. The descent to Phakding is a welcome to all trekkers, a scenic hike through lush greens. Khumbu greeted me with sounds of the torrent of Milk-Koshi River and the jangle of bells from the mills, the lifeblood of the trail. After a grueling ascent hike, Namche Bazar reveals itself. It manifests as a horseshoe of stone and tin carved directly in the mountain. Slowly starts to get thin, and it is time for an extra day of acclimatization hike to see views of Everest before going up the high Khumbu region. Along the way, against the backdrop of the Himalayan range, I felt like a temporary guest in a landscape that has been here for millions of years. The sun feels closer, with its intense rays baking the exposed trail as the ascent goes up to the 4,000 meter mark. Coupled with the abundance of yak and trail dust, the hike is now a battle against the elements. The spiritual heart of the Khumbu. At Tengboche, the air gets quiet, a stark contrast from the bustling trail it took to reach here. I could feel a deeply humbling peace emanating from within the monastery. The mighty Dablam loomed over me as I made my way up to Tengboche. It is one of the most striking mountains I've ever seen. Climb high, sleep low. That is the motto to further acclimatize before the push-up to the 5,000 meter mark. In the next few days, I am going to break my altitude record. I got my wish and broke my altitude record, but there was no celebration, just slight nausea, headache, dropping oxygen levels and a snowy landscape that suddenly felt hostile. The trail to Tengboche becomes a frozen graveyard of memorials, rock and glacial snow. Out here, I just think about getting through the next 10 steps in front of my boots. Gorak Shep came into view, the final checkpoint and a largely desolated settlement before the final push to Everest Base Camp. There was not much time to rest, and soon I had to be on my way again, on the final lap of the journey. Standing at Everest Base Camp was unforgettable, but the goal was never just a photo with a rock. It was the struggle. It was the cold mornings, the grit, and the pure endurance it took to earn every single meter of altitude. The trail is finished now. Tracing my steps back down through a snow-covered Namche, and finally lifting off from Lukla into the Kathmandu sky, I realized that the momentum doesn't stop here. It turns out the old cliche is entirely right. The destination was just the excuse I needed to start walking.